and the people at the counters have all been polite, but it is a cattle moving business.
Yeah.
And that's simple fact of life.
On one other side note, in case Rob's trying to get a hold of me, Rob, you can't text me today. My phone's still sitting at home on my desk, so nobody can reach me. Oops.
All right, but you can reach us by giving us a call at 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll free, 1-800-790-0415. And here comes the news. The New York State government has filed a lawsuit against Charter and its Time Warner Cable subsidiary. The suit alleges that Time Warner Cable systematically and intentionally under-delivered on its commitments to improve broadband service and oversold its network in New York, causing widespread speed slowdowns and performance issues. It contains some intriguing details about how Time Warner Cable allegedly manipulated speed tests conducted by the Federal Communications Commission. The FCC uses measurement equipment in the homes of more than 4,000 internet subscribers across the U.S. to produce its annual Measuring Broadband America, or MBA, report, which compares actual internet speeds to the speeds promised by broadband providers. But Time Warner Cable played a few tricks to get better marks than it should have in the tests. According to the lawsuit filed in the New York State Supreme Court by New York Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, God love him. According to the lawsuit, Time Warner Cable used one tactic that an employee described as lipstick on a pig. In another case, a TWC executive wrote an email saying, "We just have to make it work temporarily," in order to boost the FCC speed test scores. Schneiderman accused TWC of providing customers with older generation cable modems that couldn't produce the speeds customers paid for. TWC assured the FCC that it would replace the deficient modems for all of its subscribers. Based on this assurance, the FCC excluded poor results from its annual report. But while TWC did replace the modems of FCC panelists and instructed customer service reps to give the panelists VIP treatment, the company at the same time, aggressively pushed other subscribers in New York to pay to upgrade their internet service plans without ever checking whether the modems, at least to those subscribers, were capable of actually supporting their new speed plans. Even when TWC customers had the latest equipment in their homes, they often didn't receive promised speeds because the network wasn't upgraded, the lawsuit also alleges. TWC used a few methods to hide the network's poor performance in speed tests, Schneiderman claimed. In June 2013, TWC's then head of strategy wrote in an email that our FCC speed test scores are like watching a slow-motion train wreck. We need to get in front of this. One thing I think we may need to be prepared to do is just give more ports to Cogent during sweeps month. We don't have to make any promises. We just have to make it work temporarily. Schneiderman Week at soundbytes.org. That is Bytes with a Y, Francis would like us to remind you. Somebody asked me this week, who is Francis? I don't remember. It was an email I got somewhere in our first year on the air.
First or second year.
Yeah. And she said, you got to tell people it's with a Y because if you go to Sound Bytes with an I, it's a whole different company in England.
She kept getting...
the company in England that does, I think, hearing aids or something. I don't know what they do. At any rate, the poll is, are you getting the speed you were promised from Time Warner? And your choices are yes, even better, and pretty much not even close, and laughing too hard to click. So far, pretty much is ahead with 10 votes, followed closely laughing too hard to click with 9 votes, followed by yes, even better, and only 3 of you say not even close. But we know you'll have a lot more to say about this, so if you scroll down on the right under fascinating stuff, the first link there is the forums, and the second forum down is the poll discussion. Currently, at least, the first item in the poll discussion is for Feb 17. Time Warner deceived the FCC in speed tests. 4 people have already posted. We would love for you to add your voice to that list. And, of course, you can call us, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 1-800-790-0415.
2 is up to 10, isn't it?
2 is up to 10, right? It's the weasel words that let them get out of it. And of course, I should mention that if you want to read a lot more about this and in depth with some insanely great reporting, then you want to go to stopthecap.com.
And Phil from stopthecap.com will be speaking at Apple Cider this week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. at East High School, corner of Main and Culver. Go to the Ohio Street entrance is the easiest way to get into the forum room. And I'm sure he's going to be talking about that. There are rumors that Verizon is now looking to buy Spectrum. Huh. Now that merger, the Time Warner Charter merger is done, Verizon said, maybe we want that. Because, of course, AT&T bought, was it DirectPC?
Right.
And their internet business. And their I don't think they own HughesNet, but they own the DirectPC satellite end of it as well. So yeah, sure. Let's merge all these giant companies together, make even more giant companies, and cut down the competition.
Well, and exactly, that's the big thing right there. Of course, it would be really lovely if Time Warner did buy Spectrum, and then they gave us all the unlimited video streaming that the folks from Sprint all get.
Yep.
But of course, Verizon's never been good about unlimited data, so who knows what that'll do. At any rate, well, let's go to the phones. Our first caller is Mike from Caledonia, New York. Hiya, Mike. What's up,
guys? I have a locally built desktop computer. It's got 8 gig of RAM. It's an AMD Athlon 260 by 2 processor, and it seems for some reason when I go online mostly, all of a sudden the keyboard stops responding. I type and it takes forever for the words to catch up. When I try to use the mouse, I can't scroll at all. I did a memory test and a CPU test and both passed.
Yeah, no,
so you did the memory test and what happened?
It passed.
Oh, it passed, yeah. Okay, so this really, if you're using the system like running any local program, it's fine.
Yes, it seems to be fine.
What are you using as your web browser?
Either Google or Firefox. I go through both.
And it happens with both of them?
Yeah.
What OS is it? Windows what?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a Linux.
Oh, Linux.
Yeah, it's a boot new 16.04.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. And have you run Top?
Have I run what?
Okay. What you need to do is open up a terminal program.
Yeah.
And type the word Top, T-O-P.
Okay.
And hit enter.
Okay.
And what that will do is show you all the programs that are running, and it'll keep the ones using the most CPU at the top.
Okay.
So if you start up your web browser, well, start up Top first.
Right.
Leave it running, then start your web browser and take a look at what Top is doing. That'll tell you where your issue is.
Okay. Now, I did, when I click on system diagnostics, I guess it is
59662660. You can also find out more about planned giving by visiting www.jazz901.org.
Follow Jazz 90.1 on Instagram at WGMC Jazz 901.
These days, it's easy to have information overload. Sometimes I just want to kick back, hear my favorite music and the news that affects me. That's why I stay tuned into my local radio station. When important news happens in my part of town, I hear it from them first. For the best entertainment, sports, news, weather, and traffic, anytime, anywhere, I stay local. Support your local stations. Text RADIO to 52886. Furnished by the NAB and this station. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
What's small, attractive, and worth lots of money? It's the Jazz 90.1 member card, and now it's worth more than ever with the addition of 35 wineries to the list of restaurants, stores, and other businesses in the Rochester area, discounting prices exclusively to members of Jazz 90.1. You can even use your card when you travel in the United States. It's a great way to reward yourself, all while supporting Jazz 90.1. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Get one by making a pledge of support at the $90.10 level and above to Jazz 90.1. For more information on becoming a member, you can call 966-5299 or make a donation online at jazz901.org. Soundbites on Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Frag Repairs in Rochester. Frag Repairs offers services ranging from PC cleanups and virus removal to custom builds and data recovery. Repairs are offered on-site in the customer's home or business with same-day service available. For more information, you may visit fragrepairs.com or call 210-3645. That's 210-3645.
Contributions over the years made through our pledge drives have brought great programming to our listeners. Creating a legacy gift to benefit Jazz 90.1 builds a bridge from one generation of public radio listeners to the next. Please remember Jazz 90.1 in your will, trust, or general estate plans and join our Jazz 90.1 Legacy Society. You can also find out more by visiting www.jazz901.org.
And now your Jazz 90.1 weather.
After a few leftover flurries and local lake flakes, Rochester, Western New York, and the Finger Lakes will have a blend of clouds and sun for the day today. It will be seasonably cold with a westerly breeze, the high temperature in the middle 20s. Tonight's mostly cloudy. Overnight lows right around 20 with that wind out of the southwest. And for the day tomorrow, for Sunday, it's rather cloudy with a little bit of light snow or some snow flurries developing. And that breeze still out of the southwest, turning a little gusty, the high in the mid-30s. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Currently, we've got partly cloudy skies, 25 degrees out at the airport, and 28 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, I'm Jim McGrath, host of the Blues Spectrum. I hope you can tune in this Sunday evening from 7 until 9 for some of the best blues around here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 24 minutes after the hour, we've got Mark from Greece on the line. What's up, Mark?
Hi, guys. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Going back to what you were saying about the Time Warner Speed thing.
Yeah.
Ever since I went to them, I've always gotten better than what I paid for.
Yep.
And I feel very lucky with that. I paid for the 15 megabit package, and I average, even during the middle of the day, 18, 19 at some points.
Nice.
And I can't complain there. I do slow down a little bit here and there at night, but that even gets me maybe just below what I'm paying for, and not much.
Right.
So, but then you've got my sister who lives on the other side of Greece, and they sold her the 50 megabit package, and she's never been able to get anywhere near it.
As most folks can't. I mean, 15 megabits is technically obtainable on most of the stuff on cable. But when you start pushing to 50, and if you listen to their ads, they'll say up to 50.
Right.
They never say guaranteed, because there's always the determination of how many people are in the D-Slam, how many are on at that particular time in your neighborhood. There's a lot of different factors. Yes, they can achieve 50 in an ideal world, but we don't live in that.
Well, that's assuming...
Now, we had to go to the cable store to take care of some stuff for her quite a few months ago. And the gentleman, I asked him, because she didn't want to ask him, I asked him about it, and he goes, let me check your stuff. And he's going through her stuff, and he's taking his time, and he looks, and he goes, you know what? He goes, your modem
That's
is
the
not
problem.
able to even go that high. He goes, your modem's only going to manage about 20.
Yep.
He goes, or maybe 30. He goes, if you're around the 30 package. But he goes, this modem's not going to do it. He goes, you really need to turn your modem in.
Yeah, and a lot of
get
time...
a new modem. He says, and you may be able to, probably get 40 to 50, he said, depending on what's going on. But at what she's at now, she can't even use Hulu unless she goes down to the lowest video quality.
Yep. And here's the thing. Well, that has to do also. There's several things at work here. First, she's probably got a DOCSIS 2 modem. Most people in Rochester do, and the maximum speed of that modem is 38 megabits.
And most people have the modem they got with their Time Warner service 10, 15 years ago.
Right, which may be a DOCSIS 1, which is still 38 megabits. But the point is that unless you've got a DOCSIS 3 modem, which is 152 megabits down and 108 up, you'll never it's to slower for you.
Right.
So if there are more than 100 people on her head end, in fact, if there's probably more than 70 or 75 people on her head end, she's going to be experiencing slowdowns for that too.
Right.
Which is why, by the way, your system gets slower in the evening when all the kids are home and on than it is in the middle of the day or at 3 a.m.
Right.
So the point here is that there are a lot of mitigating factors, which of course is why people like Time Warner say up to.
Right.
Right. And I do understand that. But when you're paying for 50 and your maximum is 38, that's the sort of thing that Schneiderman is suing them for.
One thing I'd have question is all right, if they're selling you that package, shouldn't them as a company, and I know this is probably a dream world, ask, okay, what modem do you have?
No, they know what modem you have. They have a database that has what modem you have.
So
because the MAC address is assigned to your account.
Right. Yeah. So why sell them a package when you know darn well that's false advertising?
Well,
right
know
there.
that you know darn well the answer to that, because if they can take your money without providing you more service, they will do that gladly.
And all the customer has to do is run down to the Time Warner store and get a new modem.
Right. So it's
but
really
they should
on
be
the
told,
customer.
But they should be telling them that, oh, by the way, your current modem, you need to come down and exchange your modem because the current modem you have isn't going to be able to handle it.
They're not going to bother to tell you
And on the
Like
other
you say,
side of
it's
that,
the buck side.
when you do get a technician at your house, who knows how many new modems they might have in the truck, or what he's just got left over from the last service call. So if you have a service call come over, they put a new modem in. Is it brand new? Is it an older style? Now, I do have to say at our office, we just switched to the new Spectrum Business Class, and because they had a deal for 60, which was a lot better than the 5 we were getting on our previous provider. We got a brand new modem, and our first speed test was 70.
Yep.
All right. So,
Well,
because we have a brand new cable run to our office and a brand new modem, so we're getting what we're paying
and there
for.
probably aren't 100 people on your head end.
Right.
Out where you are.
Yeah.
There's one solution.
Green light.
Green light.
I knew you were going to say that. I will say that I get, I'm paying.
We don't want to hear it.
Okay. Let me just say that I'm ecstatically happy.
Well,
he's grinning from ear to ear if you can't see him.
I am. This is me grinning.
I basically told my sister, I said, why don't you save some money? I said, and see how you do at a slower speed. I said, I stream Hulu and Netflix at 15. Like I said, I'm getting, usually 18 is where I'm usually at. I said, I don't buffer. I run the app at the highest video quality. I don't buffer. Everybody I know.
Yep.
Lucky me.
Very lucky. At least you know people, so there's a good thing. So for everyone else listening, if you're not getting the speed you think you should be getting, the first question to ask Time Warner is, which modem do I have? If they say DOCSIS 1 or DOCSIS 2...
Or they don't know.
They know.
They say they know.
Just have to look it up. If they say DOCSIS 1 or DOCSIS 2, your maximum possible speed is 38 megabits per second down.
And folks should be periodically, though, checking before they go and call. They should first go to the speed test. And on any service, whether it's Frontier, whether it's Time Warner, you can do Google speed test.
Speedtest.net.
And you can run the test. It will tell you what you're getting.
I like speedof.me because it doesn't use Flash. It's straight HTML.
Right.
Now, does it make any sense that a lot of times I get better speed outside of the network? Like if I do their network speed test, and then I go out and I do another speed test from somewhere else?
Yes, that makes sense.
Better speed outside the network?
Sure, because think about it as a series of connections. You to the head end to the office, and the office down the hall to the machine that's running the speed test. Okay?
Right.
If the connection from you to the head end is great, but the head end to the office is poor, you'll get a slower speed test from there than if you go from your place to the head end, which is great, and then the head end to somebody else out on the internet, which may also be great, and that's a better speed. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. So, you definitely want to start by calling Time Warner and finding out what modem you have. If you're paying for more than 38 megabits per second and you don't have a DOCSIS 3 modem, make them give you, replace your modem with a DOCSIS 3 modem.
One of the problems is Time Warner sells their packages by name. So they've got standard, they've got turbo, they've got, enhanced, and then ultra. You don't know what speeds those are supposed to be. So
Right.
you may have to call them and ask them what speed you should be getting.
Right.
Well, that's all on their website. I've looked at that because
Yeah.
the packages with those names, and you look, and it tells you up to right in the package, in the small
Right.
writing, but it is there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
So-
as we've said before, it's weasel words, but understandably so, because they don't control the internet.
Right.
Right. So if you go to Apple and you get very fast download, and you go to Microsoft and get a slower download, that's not Time Warner's fault.
Right. Well, you're only as fast as the server is at the other end,
Right.
and I get that.
Right. So it's hard sometimes to know, but basically the idea is that you want to at least know that you're capable of getting the fastest speed you're paying for, and if you have a DOCSIS 1 or DOCSIS 2 modem, your maximum speed will be 38 megabits.
Right. Well, I guess that answers the question.
There you go.
Thanks so much.
Yepper, have fun.
You too. Thanks.
You remember Jerry told the story once about his internet went down and he was just so busy he never got a chance to call him and figured someone else would. And 2 or 3 days later, it was still down, so he finally got a chance to call him. He was the only one on his head end
Yeah,
in
exactly.
a new housing project. No one else called because no one else was on his connection.
Right. And that's basically the way it is on Greenlight as well. I mean, I'm basically you're the one person to the big connection.
And that's one of the weasel words that a lot of the advertisements use. And your connection's not shared. Yes, it is.
It's always shared.
It's always shared
Yeah.
somewhere. It's just, is it shared closer to your house or
Right.
closer to the company?
Yeah.
Right. I also have I have to say every once in a while I get a call from somebody at Time Warner who wants to know why I'm not bundling.
Oh, I've gotten a couple of
I
those.
get that all the time, and I tell them, look, I don't want a phone. I have my cell phone. I don't use a home landline anymore. Well, you should do internet with us because we can give you 20, 30 megabits for $70, whatever the number is.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, well, I'm getting 100 megabits for $50. And they invariably will say, yeah, we can't do that. Yeah, not for that amount. Not for that amount, you can't. No, that's right.
And they can't even get close to those speeds.
That's right. And, well, they
They have
can.
tr-
I mean, you can if you pay for it and if you've got the right this and that and yada, 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 yada. But I consistently beat that 100 megabits, and so I'm happy.
I did read someone filed a patent for a process to run fiber optic inside water pipes.
Yeah.
Because the big problem on getting faster speeds is you got to lay down fiber. You know, the copper just can't handle it,
Right.
which means you got to dig up everywhere. So most places already have, water and sewer pipes. And so putting a little tiny, half-inch, maybe even quarter-inch wide fiber line that might, have terabits of capacity inside the existing water pipe without needing to dig up anything new, you just run this new wire. That should really help putting new faster services in.
Yep. Yeah. And we're seeing that. We're also seeing communities now that are abandoning all wires for wireless. Companies that are putting in mesh wireless in neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's so much cheaper.
And it's cheaper for them, and they can cover without needing as much in the way of right-of-way, et cetera, et cetera. And they can get to places that it would be difficult to get to. You had that issue of crossing a road one
Yep.
time. You could see the pole from where you were, but to get across the road was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and who was going to pay for that? Well, you don't have that problem if they can stick a wireless antenna up on that pole.
That's one of the problems we did run into is they didn't bury our wire. They just ran because it's winter and it's too hard to dig it up. So hopefully, before we have to mow the grass, they'll come back and bury the wire.
Right. All right, we're going to take another break. Back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It's 38 minutes after the hour. It's the longest-running computer show in the known universe, Sound Bytes, on the truly great and truly grateful to be member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbites.org. More with Nick